Our universe is filled with secrets and mysteries.
What?
Many questions to be answered. We find ourselves searching for those answers at the very fabric of science and society. And for the very first time, these worlds collide.
On my mark. Here we go.
This is Knowledge Talk.
Topics that contribute knowledge to the society. News, interviews with guests.
The show that said it all with your host, Tariq Al-Barwani. Tuesdays at 5 p.m. Face it and talk it through on Knowledge Talk.
Check it out.
Every week here on the Nation Station Radio, Sultan of Oman, 90.4 FM.
Assalamu alaikum, good afternoon, and welcome to Knowledge Talks. A weekly edutainment and knowledge sharing program aired live specifically to share with you topics that contribute knowledge to the society. Every week, Knowledge Talks hosts and invites guests that are experts, professionals, and leaders from the field that bring wealth of knowledge to you. Knowledge Talks also highlights and promotes talents in the country that contribute knowledge and success to the nation. This program, ladies and gentlemen, is a weekly session that I will have with you every Tuesday at 5 p.m. I'm your host, Tariq Al-Barwani, along with our studio engineer, DJ Safiya, for an hour bringing you free knowledge at your doorsteps on Oman Radio FM 90.4. Okay, stay tuned after this music break for today's interesting passage.
Our universe is filled with secrets and mysteries.
What?
Many questions to be answered. We find ourselves searching for those answers at the very fabric of science and society. And for the very first time, these worlds collide.
On my mark. Here we go.
This is Knowledge Talk.
Topics that contribute knowledge to the society. News, interviews with guests.
The show that said it all with your host, Tariq Al-Barwani. Tuesdays at 5 p.m. Face it and talk it through on Knowledge Talk.
Check it out.
Every week here on the Nation Station Radio, Sultan of Oman, 90.4 FM.
Welcome back to Knowledge Talks, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, Tariq Al-Barwani, along with our studio engineer, DJ Safiya, with you here live today on Oman Radio FM 90.4. So the question is, can women ski to the North Pole? Well, my guest today, Anisa Raisi, is an instructor of Outward Bound Oman and is personally on the planning phases to the expedition of the North Pole in April 2017. However, what would it take to go on the expedition? And can women do it? Omanis as well? How can you apply for the challenge, and are you fit for it, is the question, ladies and gentlemen. A fantastic, energetic Anisa, who is all geared for the expedition, is with us here today, ladies and gentlemen. And will inshallah become among the first women, especially as an Omani, to go for the North Pole expedition. Anisa is with us here to share with you all that you need to know about the expedition. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Anisa, how are you doing today?
Wa alaikum assalam, Tariq. Alhamdulillah, I'm very good. Thank you. First of all, I'd like to thank you for giving me this opportunity to be on your show. It's quite a privilege.
In fact, the honor is mine, Anisa. I mean, I have been reading about you. I've seen your posts on the social media. You have a very upbeat personality, very energetic. I can tell you one thing. We were just walking in the studio today. When I just saw you, I got energized as well, you know. MashaAllah.
It's all the coffees I've had today, Tariq.
It's the coffee. Is that the secret? Which coffee was it?
Oh, it's espresso. espresso.
Espresso.
Yeah, espresso. You need to give me some free capsules just for marketing you here.
Oh, nice. Then I need to go and try that as well. I want to feel energetic and strong. Like when I came in, hello Tarek, how are you today? I was like, wow, now that's good. That's energy. That's confidence. We're very, very pleased to have you here today.
Thank you.
Anisa, at our program. In fact, a lot of people are looking forward to learn about the North Pole expedition, how they could join the challenge and whether they're fit or not, and all the requirements into it. And more than that, let me tell you one thing. What I do before every program is I post about the personalities, the guest. And lots of people speak very good about you. Very big. I think good is too small. It's big. People speak very big. People who have worked with you, your colleagues, people who know you, your friends, and so on, mashallah. And that's a very good sign, by the way.
That is. I'm very privileged that people speak highly of me. You haven't heard the bad things yet.
Is it? You want to share it today?
No, I'm good. I'll keep that.
Anisa, how's the preparation for the North Pole, and how does it feel on becoming, inshallah, the first woman to go for the North Pole?
Lots of preparations, Tarek. It's been, I've heard of it since February when I got enrolled onto the team, when I got accepted. And there's been preparation since then. It's ongoing every day. I'm training personally, physically for 3 hours, 1 hour to 3 hours every day.
MashaAllah. 1 hour to 3 hours every day,
every
preparation
day, yes.
for the April.
Now
that's what I call preparation. Okay?
Yeah. There's a physical aspect, there's a mental aspect to it, and then there's obviously the financial aspect, which is another sort of preparation.
Okay, so the three aspects, the physical, the mental, and the financial,
yes.
which we're looking forward to hear all of them today. I saw one of your nice photos, by the way, the one on the beach, and you were sort of...
the yoga.
The yoga.
Yeah,
Was it also for the preparation for the...
that was actually something I was doing on the side.
Okay.
I do yoga as part of my preparation as well,
Okay.
but that was on the side. It was an ad I was doing for Toyota.
Anisa, you are a superwoman. The question is, can all the other women become a superwoman as well for this program? Because now, my worry is that, I'm asking a superwoman about an expedition in North Pole, and then I don't know whether they're all women are superwomen. So the question is, can anyone do that?
I think anyone. Look, Tarek, I am anyone. I don't think I'm a superwoman. I'm a normal person.
That's what you think. I already told you are a superwoman. Since we've came into the show today, I can see that. I see also on your posts, mashallah. That's what I feel. But that's good being humble. So anyway, I look forward to the program today to learn so we can see how everyone can do it, which is very important. Now, what led you to apply for this challenge?
Oh, good question. Well, I heard about it. Because I work at Outward Bound, things like this always come across our way. My general manager, Mark Evans, he sent this to us as an email, just asking us if you know of any people who would be interested, forward this email to them. There's an expedition to the North Pole. I thought about it over the weekend, and I thought, why not? Why not me?
Okay, I like that.
Yeah, so I enrolled, and I got accepted.
Okay, now let's go back to the enrollment. You just sent an email, I would like to enroll and join.
It was, there's an enrollment form, which was basically a set of questions. It wasn't a simple form. It was about 10 questions at least, but very detailed. More on the psychology of the person, trying to understand the personality of the people through those questions. So it was very in-depth. So I answered that as best as I could. It asked about your experience, your outdoor experience. It asked about what you would do in certain situations, difficult situations, trying to get a grasp of your personality. So those were the type of questions, and I sent that off, and that was the initial enrollment process.
Okay.
After that came an interview. So that was the initial selection process, and then came an interview. So 1,000 applicants applied through that enrollment form.
Okay.
And then 10 people were interviewed for the final. 10 people were selected for the final, 50 were interviewed.
Wow. Okay.
On a Skype call. It was a face-to-face video interview.
Okay.
And over there it was quite funny because Felicity, the person who's organising this, she just tried... I had the impression that she was just trying to give us the worst case scenario. So there's going to be bears, there's going to be ice water, it's going to be freezing cold, -40. Do you still want to do it?
Okay.
And every time she said something like that, I just got more excited. I'm like, yes.
Come on, bring it on, bring it on. That's awesome. Okay.
So it didn't put me backwards. In fact, it encouraged me more, and I think she liked that. And so luckily, I was one of the 10 people selected.
Oh, mashallah, and you deserve it. I wish you the very, very best. Now, going back to the question that she was saying, would you be able? Do you think she was trying to whatever she was sharing, was it true? That so you got bears, you got this and that.
Yes.
So they're actually going to happen. All those things.
So she gave us all the scary bits so that we're not shocked later.
Okay.
So there's going to be polar bears, and that is becoming a bigger risk now with global warming.
Okay.
The bears are acting very unexpectedly, so they're in places where they weren't meant to be. Like now they're found a lot more in Norway.
Okay.
Just because of the melting ice, which is one of the reasons also we are, I'm sure we'll speak about the aims later, but this is one of the aims of the expedition, to raise awareness on the environmental changes.
Okay.
So polar bears, ice cold water, of course. The ground itself is shifting ice, so it's as opposed to the Antarctic. It's ice cap.
Okay.
So it's just frozen ice on top of ice water.
Wow.
And that could shift and that could crack with the heat. And so there's that. Okay. There's obviously the freezing cold. It goes down to -40. Frostbite is a big risk. You could lose your fingers, your toes, your ears, nose, your face.
Wow.
Yeah,
and with
it
all
gets,
those scary things, and you're still going, Anisa?
You know, there's risks in everything, Barak, and I think it's just knowing what the risks are and knowing what to do to minimize them and just being prepared as best you can.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're very much looking forward.
I am, definitely.
This is April, inshallah. And inshallah, you'll be among the first Omanis to go to the North Pole, inshallah.
Inshallah.
Khalas, we're looking forward once you come back with the flying colors, inshallah. Now, tell me a thing. Do you think you had a chance of being selected?
Sorry?
Do you think you had a chance of being selected into this program? What was your feeling? Did you feel you had a chance?
When I first got selected, no. You know, when I found out that there were 1,000 applicants and from all over the world, from all over Europe and from all over the Middle East, I thought, you know what, there's no way. Like I said, I don't think I'm anything special.
Okay.
Yes, I like the outdoors, and yes, I enjoy doing adventurous things and getting out of my comfort zone and trying new things.
Yeah.
But I never thought that I would be selected for something as big as this. So I'm still trying to get over it. When I met the group in Iceland, I think we all were in sort of the shock phase because when we met in Iceland for the first time about a month ago now, we were all like, oh, this is actually happening. Now this is happening, because when you meet the team, you realize it's real.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what was your immediate thought upon learning you've got the place?
It was funny. I remember it. We were driving back from a course. It was in Hibri, our course. Me and Sakina, who's another female instructor with us at Outward
Will she be joining as well?
And Alia, no. I'll be the only one from Oman.
They don't want to get into a problem, I think.
I think Sakina wanted to apply, but because they were looking for Arabs from the Arabian Peninsula.
Okay.
And Sakina is of Moroccan origin.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or maybe they want you to have you like a punching bag and see what happens. You go back. When you come back alive in one piece, they will all go.
Yeah.
I would like to do that too. So once you come back, let me know.
Once I come back, I'll give everyone the green light, then you
yeah,
guys go ahead.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Now, tell me one thing. You mentioned about 3 aspects. You said financial, physical, and mental. Please explain about it. Talk about it.
So I'll start with the physical first, because I think that's the easiest. Well, compared to the other two. Physical, you just train yourself. First of all, food, nutrition is very important. And we did, when we met in Iceland, there was an entire training schedule that we went through, including what we should be eating, what we shouldn't be eating, our diet, for the next months running up to April.
How many months before the expedition?
Oh, it starts now. It starts now,
now?
the healthy eating. The thing with me, I'm vegetarian, so I need to really, take care of the protein intake. Try and get it through things like broccoli and nuts and so on. So I'm doing that. That's a nutrition side. Then there's a physical aspect. There's strength training, which I'm doing that with CrossFit now. I've joined the RX Oman CrossFit gym, and that's really working out.
And you just joined for this program?
Yeah.
For this expedition?
For this expedition.
That's
they've actually sponsored me, so yeah,
okay.
That was very nice of them.
But were you doing any activity before that?
I was, yes. I was constantly, but into strength exercises, not really.
Okay.
You can see I'm quite small in size.
No. You look, mashallah, fit. I can tell you that. You look fit, strong, upbeat.
Yeah.
That's what I said. That's why I was surprised when I asked you a question. Have you just started with CrossFit?
Yeah.
Means that was
with
very
CrossFit,
short.
I've actually just started, but I have
Okay.
been doing boot camp, which is also run by an instructor who's at the CrossFit gym.
Okay.
And I've been doing that for over a year.
Okay.
And I do running on
Okay.
a regular basis every day.
So every day you work out.
Yeah.
You don't take even the rest days.
I do I try. See, my husband, he tries and forces me into taking a rest day because I overdo it.
Yeah, I think it's important,
Yeah,
right? I
yeah,
mean,
it is,
just
yeah.
for the body to recover and so on.
It is. The thing is with outward bound, because when I go off on my courses with outward bound,
Yeah.
that takes me away from Muscat for at least 4 or 5 days.
Okay.
So I try and have my rest days over there.
Okay.
Yeah, so it doesn't really affect my workout schedule.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's very good. And about the food, what are the food that you don't eat then?
That I don't eat
Yes.
right now.
Right now.
It's meats.
Oh, so you don't eat meats?
No,
Rice
I don't
you eat?
I eat rice. I eat everything. I try to stick. So I don't do fizzy drinks anymore.
Because of this program or before?
From before.
Okay, very good. So fizzy drinks out?
Yeah, it was since about last February, a year ago, that I tried to change my entire lifestyle.
Which is no fizzy,
No fizzy.
no meat.
No meat. Lots of fresh fruits and vegetables. And then I try and incorporate beans and all in there as well.
Okay.
For the protein.
Now, how is it? Hard, easy?
Actually, I got used to it.
And
I eat
that's it.
fish.
Okay.
I eat fish, so I'm pescatarian really.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's easy. I got
Okay.
used to it, and I tried. I cheated.
Yeah.
Actually, I confess, I had German doner kebab recently.
Okay. But
And I
that's
had
not
the
a
chicken.
problem. People have cheat days. If you don't have cheat days, they're going to be big problem, right?
You know, because of the cheat days, you appreciate your normal diet so much
Yeah.
more. After the German doner kebab, I actually got a bit sick.
Okay.
Because I
Ooh.
think I wasn't used to the chicken
Yeah,
anymore. And yeah. But yeah, no, I feel good.
So you don't
I
go
feel-
again for any of the doner kebab again?
No, you know what? With my current diet, like people ask me how I feel, and I feel a lot more alive, a lot more energetic. I think it's the fresh fruits and vegetables.
Yeah, so it was not
it
the
works.
coffee. I caught ya, not on the coffee. That was what I was looking for. What about mentally then?
Mentally, I'm joining the marathon for that. So I've always had a problem that my mind gives up before my body does, and that is obvious when I do longer runs. My mind starts to say, "Oh, come on, stop! Why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? Just stop! Just have a break." Whereas my body, I know, can still keep going.
Okay.
So that's why I decided, you know what, the marathon's going to be good. I've never in my life ran over 20 kilometers.
Okay.
And
wow.
so now I've joined the full marathon, which is 42 kilometers.
Okay.
That's going to be
42 kilometers,
yeah.
okay. And
In-
when is this going to
at
be?
the end of January, the Muscat Marathon.
Wow, 42. And how many kilometers do you run these days?
Now it changes, so depending on my training plan. So
Okay.
some days I have intervals, which is faster runs and slower. Some days it's long runs. It always changes.
Wow, that's exciting. And you're looking forward for the marathon then?
I am. I'm training hard for it. Fingers crossed I get through. I'm not really worried about the timing. It's more about just completing it, really.
I wish you the very, very best, inshallah.
Thank you.
Financially, what about the financially?
Financially is the difficult part because right now we are all busy looking for sponsors. It's difficult times around the world, especially in Oman, economy-wise. And trying to look for sponsors is not the easiest part. So yeah, that's a financial bit to it. Obviously, we can't all be paying from our pockets, which we have for the Iceland trip for the training.
Okay.
But now we've got the Norway training coming up in February, and then I've got the actual expedition.
Okay.
We need to pay the Russians. I'll tell you more about the Russians in December. So we're coming close to the deadline on when we need to start confirming the payments to make this happen.
Okay.
So it's a little nerve-wracking, but inshallah, I hope something will come through.
How much does it cost anyway, approximately? What are we looking at?
We're looking at, for the entire group, because we're looking at a title sponsor.
Okay.
So the entire group will be sponsored by one company.
Okay.
This is what we're initially aiming for, whereas one logo will be branded on everything.
Okay.
That would be ideal, and that we're looking at 300,000 euros.
Okay, and how many are you so far?
There's 10 of us.
10 of you are going.
Yes.
And
So it's five from the Middle East and 5 from Europe.
mashallah, 5 from the Middle East and 5 from Europe. So when you told me about 1,500, was it?
1,000 participants initially,
But that was all over the Middle East.
and Europe.
Ya akhi, you are a pride of Oman. Mashallah, yani you've been selected out of all of them. That's very, very good. Mashallah. And now it was the questionnaire that they've been sent, and then you had an interview via Skype,
Yes.
and that's when they came back and they selected, okay, you
And then
can
they
go.
selected you. And then in Iceland, we still had the opportunity to back out if we saw that we couldn't. Yeah. And
Before the expedition or during the expedition?
during the training expedition in Iceland, which was last month.
Okay.
That was the final, right, if you don't think you're up for this, because we already went through the cold over there, we already went through the training, cooking, putting up the tents, skiing, all of that happened in Iceland. So that was the final, if you can't, back out now kind of thing.
Very exciting, very interesting, Anisa, on the expedition. We're going to take a quick break and we want to come back again and learn more about this exciting expedition of your program. Very exciting discussion with Anisa Raisi, who is an instructor of Outward Bound Oman and is personally on the planning phases for the expedition of the North Pole in April 2017. Energetic, smart, talented is very, very short words to describe Anisa, who is with me here today on Knowledge Talks at Oman Radio FM 90.4. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have any questions to ask, call in and 24602058. I repeat, the number is 24602058. Any question that I have not asked and you would like to know about, that's 602058. Anisa, tell me one thing. What do your family and friends think about you doing this?
They're very, very supportive. My friends keep telling me what an inspiration I am, how amazing this is. People at work, it's just so much support I'm getting from everyone, and it makes me really feel very confident about all this. Yeah. Alhamdulillah.
They're giving you all the energy and the boost. Yeah, you can do it.
Yeah.
Yes, you can do it.
Yeah, and not only you can do it, they're supporting me with, actually, like my husband, he goes out for runs with me. He goes to, now he's just joined the CrossFit as well. So he's really supporting me there in that way as well.
MashaAllah. Yeah. Would he be joining?
No.
He would be waiting for you to come back. I mean,
Exactly.
is he not worried at all? Oh, he's just waiting for you to go and come back in one piece. But
well,
I can tell him.
It is a woman on the expedition, so I told him he's not allowed.
Yeah, but I can tell you one thing confidently. I'm sure he trusts you and he believes in you. Otherwise, he wouldn't have just let you go.
Yeah,
I'm sure in his mind he says, you know what? Anisa can do this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who or what has been your greatest inspiration to take on a challenge like this, Anisa?
I think the greatest inspiration for me, it's not a who, it's more a what. It's the fact that I'm an Omani woman.
Yeah.
I think that could be an inspiration to other Omani women. I hope it would be. What I hope to do is come back and talk to a lot of Omani women and tell them that this is possible. Basically, I am one of you. I'm no different than anyone else. And if I can do it, then you can as well. And I want everybody to have that mentality. So that's really my inspiration.
Inshallah. Tell us more about the expedition aims and the mission.
The expedition aims is basically fostering a better dialogue between the Middle East and Europe. So it's a group of women. It's a woman-only group from selected 5 participants from the Middle East and 5 participants from Europe. And it's going to be about us just proving to the world, basically, that we can work together. We can live together, we can go through hardships together and all of that. When I work on an outward bound course, 5 days or longer, but 5 days is a normal course, and we have groups of students sleeping together, cooking together, walking together, going through challenges together, and you see the bond it makes between them.
So exciting and fascinating, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
In fact, they say you want to learn about a person, you travel with them.
Exactly.
You do.
Exactly.
You believe that?
Definitely.
Believe in that, by the way?
Definitely.
And you see that in the students when they travel?
Definitely.
Okay.
That's actually one of the quotes that we use on our courses.
Oh, is it? Nice. It's really good, huh? Because you get to see people how they are, they fight, they're friends, and so on.
Yeah. And here you not only travel together, but we are put through hardships. And so it's how you also learn a lot about your own personality, you know. How do I deal with this problem? It tells you a lot about yourself. For me, for example, I know myself. I'm not a good person when I'm hungry.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I get really cranky when I'm hungry. Just, you want to keep me happy, just keep food in front of me.
Not coffee?
Coffee also works. And chocolates, you know. There's a long list.
Okay.
But yeah, so that's one of the aims, fostering greater dialogue between women. And then it's also the climate changes, bringing awareness to the changes that's happening in our world right now. And the North Pole is the most obvious place to show it.
Okay. Now you finally have met up with the 11 team members, the other ones that you're going with them. What can you tell us about them?
They're such interesting women. You know, before I went to Iceland, before I met them, it was all online. We were chatting online. We had a forum where we could put in our ideas and everything. And I was really intimidated. These women have such amazing ideas, and they're all such capable people. I got there and they were all of that and more. But they were such loving people as well. As soon as we got into the airport, like I got hugs all around and...
From the first time you met them?
From the first time.
Were you guys taught about that?
No.
Because they're not strangers?
No. They didn't feel like strangers at all. And I think, like you said when we first met, it feels like you've known this person for a long time. And that's exactly how it felt when I saw these women.
But were you communicating with them before that?
We were just online though.
Okay,
and it was always like very formal kind of emails and all, sharing ideas about presentations and things like that. Yeah. But then we got there and it was just...
Did you see their photos? Did you see how they look like?
We saw their photos beforehand,
okay.
yes.
So that
yes.
those plays the role. So you saw photos and you were communicating with them.
Uh-huh.
So when you met them, you like hug it off kind of thing, right?
And I think that's the thing about being women as well. They're a lot more emotional and open that way. Not as emotionally retarded as men.
Ouch! That's bad!
And so, it was just such a loving group. Yeah.
Okay, mashallah. That's very good. What were your thoughts about the Iceland trip before and now as well? Now after you went with
So like I said before, my biggest worry was not the cold, it was not the camping, it was not... Because I do a lot of the camping and all of that. That's part of my work with Outward Bound. My biggest fear was these women. But then I met them, and there was a lot of ideas. We gave back and forth. The training that we did, which was camping on the glacier, skiing over there. Skiing was something new for me, so that was a new experience entirely. Came back feeling really good, a lot more confident, but also realising all the work that I still have left to do. So that's where I put a proper schedule in place for myself with the physical aspect and then all the other work that needs to go behind it, like the presentations for sponsors, meetings with sponsors and so on.
Well, there's a lot of learning with these kind of program initiatives.
Yeah, definitely. Especially since it's not a guide that's taking us through this. Felicity Aston, the person who is basically organising all of this, she's not doing it as a guide, and she's not even making us feel like she's the guide, like she's in charge. It's more of a teamwork. We're all doing the planning together. We all sat down and talked about the food, where we're going to order the food for, like all down to the smallest details, the kit and all of that. So it feels like we are more responsible for everything and liable for it as well.
Okay. And are you all have to eat, or do you all have to eat the same food?
We do. So luckily everybody agreed that they're happy to stick to seafood.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, lucky for me.
So the fish and all that, a lot of proteins, huh?
See, I think that's another thing about having an all-woman group. They're very easy with food.
Yeah. No, alhamdulillah, that's very good. Because I know not everyone eats like the other person.
Yeah.
But now if you all, that's a big challenge. 11 people?
Yeah.
You are 11 people each one. So you accept the seafood. Everybody eats seafood, I think. So
yeah.
that's okay.
Yeah, they were all happy with it, yeah. One of them said no lobsters, but I don't think we'll have the money to spend on lobsters up there anyway.
What was your toughest learning curve?
Toughest learning curve. Okay, here's a funny one. Skiing downhill.
Skiing downhill. Tell us about it.
That was painful. So what we're going to be doing in the North Pole is skiing, cross-country skiing.
Okay.
So that's pretty flat, and it's not downhill or fast. It's more endurance type skiing. It's just long distance. But what we did on the last day of Iceland, so we went up to this glacier, we camped there for 5 days, we cross-country skied up there, everything was good. And then we came down, and the only way to come down was ski down. And so my biggest learning curve was how to ski downhill, pulling a sledge behind me that weighed about 20 kilograms, 30 kilograms at least.
Mamma mia.
The sledge didn't end up behind me anymore, I realised. It was more in front of me, and that was dragging me down.
Ooh.
So to help, we were actually quite... we came up with some good ideas. So
It's scary, by the way.
It was scary. So what I did, I got someone to sit on the sledge.
Okay.
And she was my steering, basically.
So she moved right, left?
She moved right and left, and basically all I'm doing is pushing the sledge some more when I need to, skiing downhill or braking, turning, and all of that. Yeah,
okay. That's a good teamwork.
So it was
that's
good teamwork.
Good.
Yeah,
that's a good thing. You get
very
to learn
innovative.
out of this teamwork. It's risky, scary.
It was scary, yeah, especially when big cars were coming, trucks and all, ice trucks coming in the opposite direction. But
Oh my God.
crevasses on the right and left, so any mistake and you fall down this big hole.
You know, I only see this in movies, Anisa.
I've got a video, I'll
actually
show you
felt
something
it.
in real
Oh, that's
life.
what I was doing. So you guys have done the recording of this?
Yeah, we've recorded everything. We've recorded pictures and videos and everything, so we've got, a lot to show.
Okay, so were you having a GoPro or something recorded?
We had GoPros and all, but for that one, no, we just had a telephone.
But you recorded the whole thing?
Yeah.
So can I feel it and feel that I'm part of the thing with the recording?
Yeah,
That would be
definitely.
Nice. Now, have you had... you haven't skied before, right, in Iceland?
I haven't skied at all. I've snowboarded a little.
Before
in
that?
Dubai.
Okay, in Dubai. Oh, that's a small one, right? How do you
Yeah, it
compare,
is.
by the way, the experience... I've been to Dubai, by the way. Dubai, I mean, many people have. But the feeling of the artificial to the real and factual is the same thing?
Do you know the actual snow wasn't that different?
Within the Dubai thingy?
Yeah, the actual feel of the snow itself.
Okay.
But the atmosphere was very different. Like when you're up on the glacier, first of all, there's no one. Visibility on some days was just a couple meters.
Okay.
Everything was white. Everything was white. It was just so beautiful because everything is so clean, so white.
Yeah.
And that's how it's going to be in the North Pole. They say it also smells very clean, if I can explain. Because everything freezes, all the germs freeze. There's nothing at -40. Nothing living.
Minus 40.
Yeah, that's how it's going to be in the North Pole. Over here, it was only -16 in Iceland.
In Iceland, okay.
Yeah. But in the North Pole, we're looking at least -40, yeah.
Mamma mia. Tell me, how challenging was the cold? Tell me, how challenging was it?
I got a little bit of frost nip on my toes, so it felt a bit tingly and funny for at least a month after I got back.
Okay.
Now it's all fine.
But that is with -16.
That was with -16.
What about -40?
Exactly. So I've already learned from my mistakes. That you can say was a learning curve as well on how to keep my feet warm. My feet normally is the first thing to get cold.
Okay.
So just keeping my extremities warm, that's very important.
And what... tell me one thing. So, what kind of preparation should people have? I know you're doing the CrossFit and mentally getting yourself ready. That come on, it's going to be in April. I'm going there. You're a bit. For me, I'll be scared. Although I do a lot of adventures, but this thing looks a bit of scary. Yeah, but what kind of thing would you advise someone, he or she, especially she, you being a she, that want to go into such expedition to do?
I think it's just the outlook that you need to have on it. It's like with anything that you're scared of, that you're apprehensive about and doing in life, just have a positive outlook.
Yeah.
Believe in yourself, first of all. It helps if people believe in you. Believe in yourself that you are going to do it, and you will. It will be difficult. Don't trick yourself. I know it's going to be difficult. I know there will be points where I'll probably break down and cry. Yeah. But it's what you do after that.
Yeah,
It's
once you do it, it's like,
Exactly.
I did it.
Exactly.
What if you give me some few, like 3 or 4 things that you would say for someone, I would say, like, sell the idea for someone to go to such an expedition. What would that be?
It's a once-in-a-lifetime experience.
Please.
It definitely is. You're not going to do this again. How often do you get to say, I'm going to the North Pole? I'm skiing to the North Pole with an all-woman group. You know, that's not going to happen.
I don't know. I like that. We're going to take a quick break right now, Anisa, and revert back to our interesting discussion on the expedition to the North Pole.
Our universe is filled with secrets and mysteries. Many questions to be answered. We find ourselves searching for those answers at the very fabric of science and society. And for the very first time, these worlds collide.
On my mark. Here we go.
This is Knowledge Talk,
Topics that contribute knowledge to the society. News, interviews with guests.
the show that said it all, with your host, Tarek Al-Barwani, Tuesdays at 5 p.m. Face it and talk it through on Knowledge Talk.
Check it out.
Every week here on the Nation Station Radio, Sultan of Oman, 90.4 FM.
Very exciting discussion we have today, and a lot of learning. Personally, I've learned a lot from you, Anisa, as well. With reference to the North Pole expedition that you will be having, could you please tell us about the duration of the program and what will you be doing during those number of days that you're there?
So, best case scenario, the duration of the program would be 10 days.
Okay.
The plan is 100 kilometers, the last degree. in 10 days. That's if everything goes well, if the ice shifts in the right direction, which is towards the North Pole. Worst case is up to 2 weeks.
Okay.
Because the ice could also shift in the opposite direction, which means when we sleep, when we put up our tents at night, you're on an ice pack that could move in any which direction. If it moves away from the North Pole, you're covering less ground. You could even cover minus ground. So say you've walked 10 kilometers or skied 10 kilometers, then the ice moves back 12 kilometers, you're minus 2 kilometers.
Okay.
So it's like you haven't done anything that day.
Okay.
Just walked backwards.
Wow. And this what do you know about the daily activities? Do you guys have like some kind of a schedule?
Yeah, it's very, very strict. So when we were training in Iceland, most of the training was on that, basically fixing a schedule, fixing a role for every single person, so that there's no question. I mean, when you're on the North Pole with minus 40 degrees, with winds blowing, gusts and all of that, you can't really communicate. So everybody knowing exactly what role they have, when they have to do it, and so on. So my role, for example, in my tent, there's 4 to each tent. In my tent, my role was the outside person. So our tent, we've learned to put it up, and it's a 4-person big tent. We've put it up in less than 3 minutes. During those 3 minutes, 2 people go in. They start setting up the beds and everything, emptying the polkas, the sledges that we have, and taking the things inside. While the other 2 people outside, which is me and Ida, and my other tent partner, we start securing the tent. So we start shoveling the ice that's around the tent and putting it on the skirts of the tent to make sure that's in place. Make a little it's a small details, Felicity said, and it really makes a difference. Like inside our tent, we've got an area, we do a little ditch where we can sit down and remove our shoes, you know, just being able to bend your knees at the end of the day. It's just amazing. After you've been skiing. So our skiing day looks like you wake up in the morning, there's a pull pole time.
Okay.
Pull pole is when everybody has to get out of their tents. Everything is ready. Everything is unpacked. Everything's in the sledges. And you all pull pole, which means the final bits of putting your tent down at the same time, so that nobody is left outside waiting at minus 40 degrees for the others to put their tents down. So there's a pull pole time. We all stick to that time, and everyone within a minute finishes rolling up their tent and putting that on their sledge. From then on, you start walking in a straight line, ski to sledge, so that you're very close to each other. There's no distance between anyone. Walking in a straight line for 90-minute intervals. So it's 90 minutes, and then you get a 7-minute break. 90 minutes, then a 7-minute break. And that goes on for 16 hours.
Wow.
Yeah.
16 hours a day.
16 hours a day. What we did in Iceland was 8 hours.
Okay.
So it could go up to 16 hours a day if we need to cover at least 10 kilometers.
Okay, mashallah. Tell me one thing, personally, I want to ask you this question. What keeps you motivated?
What keeps me motivated is just the challenge, first of all. I can self-motivate myself, so I'm lucky that way. I like to put a challenge in front of me and see, okay, test yourself, Anisa, can you or can you not? And alhamdulillah, so far, most of the times, I can.
MashaAllah.
So I always like to put the next challenge in front of me and test myself.
And always on would you raise the bar.
Uh-huh.
So what will be the next after North Pole? I can tell you one thing, by the way. Looking at you, the way you've been speaking, energetic, since I've seen you at the studio walking in around, I can tell, mashallah, you will go and come back successfully and raise the flag of Omanis. What is the next after North Pole? I want to know what's your next...
I don't really have a next plan after North Pole. I am just newly married, so somewhere along the line I would be starting a family, inshallah.
Inshallah.
Which in itself I think is a big ordeal. But adventure-wise, I do want to continue. I know that the North Pole won't be the last one.
Okay.
It's the first one, it will definitely not be the last. So inshallah, I hope if I come back successfully to make Oman proud again in another way.
Inshallah, ya Rabbil Alamin. You know, many people have got role models that they follow or aspire and so on. Who is your role model?
My role model is someone who's... It's a funny story. He's a fisherman, or of fisherman origins, from Sawadi.
Okay.
His name is Raisi al-Amri.
Okay.
He's a kiteboarding instructor.
Okay.
He started kiteboarding when he was 16. It's interesting because the person who taught him spoke only in German. Isa didn't speak a word of German, and the other person didn't speak a word of Arabic. So it was really all sign languages and writing in the sand that they learned. He learned a very technical sport.
Yeah.
He's made it to international level.
MashaAllah.
He represents Red Bull in Oman. He's a Red Bull athlete.
Okay.
And he's just done so amazingly well. And whenever I see, I'm a kiteboarding instructor as well on the side.
Okay.
So when I see him kiteboard, it's just, I want to be like him one day. It's just amazing. And this is an Omani who's come from a fisherman background, you know, and he's made it to such a, and he speaks English right now. Like it's just his first language. He speaks German. He's
MashaAllah.
He's such an inspiration, and he's still a young guy. He's 26, 25, I think. Yeah.
Another potential guest for Knowledge Talks, by the way.
Definitely.
Yeah, please hook me up to him. We always like to look at these Omanis who are making impact. So he's one. Please just hook me up to him. It would be very good to have him in our show as well. You speak many languages as well, right?
I do, yes.
So how many languages do you speak?
I speak 5.
Okay, mashallah. So you speak Queen English, no doubt, and you speak Arabic because you're Omaniya, طبعا.
The English would say I sound very American.
No, you speak very good. Your English is very, very good, mashallah. And you speak Arabic,
I speak
being
Arabic.
an Omani.
I speak Urdu because my mom's from Pakistan.
Mashallah.
And so we grew up with that language.
Yeah.
I speak German because I studied in Austria,
Okay.
and my studies were in German,
Okay.
partially, and Spanish because I lived in Barcelona for a while.
No, I respect
I
that
work
fully.
there.
You know, with every languages you learn, you broaden your horizon, of course, and then it's very good. Nothing beats learning a lot of languages. I personally would like to learn that as well. Anything you wish to share with our audience before end of our program today?
Well, I just want to tell everyone that, like I said, I'm any person. I'm any random Omani girl that you would meet on the street. So there's nothing special about me. And what I want everyone to know is that if I can, really, you can. And don't put any limits to yourself. I mean, the question in the beginning of this was, can a woman do it? Of course a woman can do it. Can an Omani woman do it? Why not? If a German woman can do it, if a Swedish woman can do it, if an English woman can do it, an Omani woman can definitely do it. We're built no different. In fact, we're probably stronger. So, yes, why not?
Very, very powerful word, ladies and gentlemen, from Anisa Raisi, who is very humble. I mean, mashallah, and shares her advice. And what the punch with that one shares it. If I can do it, you can do it. She's an Omani. She can do it, you can do it too. Irrespectively, of course, I know she's a superwoman and and she's very humble. She'll not accept that, but mashallah, she deserves all this accomplishment and achievement, and we wish her the very, very best, inshallah, for her expedition in April. Thank you very much for joining us today in our program, and I hope and I wish you the very success in everything that you do, Anisa, inshallah.
Thank you, likewise.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end of our program for this week. I hope you all had an intriguing time with us. Let us catch up again next week on Tuesday, same time, 5 p.m. for a knowledge session. I'm Tariq Al-Barwani along with our studio engineer DJ Ayub, wishing you all a happy and a pleasant week. Ma'as salama.